want to discuss if you should be buying a house in 2025 and what has been going on in the market that leads me to believe we will have a volatile year this year in the housing market. Because we have seen a lot of swings in mortgage rates, in buyer demand, in inventory. A lot of things are changing and we are now shifting to a more normal market. And if you've been in real estate, if you've been watching home values for the last 3 to 4 years in Orange County, we have started to see a shift, and a lot of people are not familiar with this. If you're new here, my name is Iain Phillips. I'm a local realtor in Orange County, and I love to discuss data-specific points in local markets and talk about what trends I am seeing, where I think the market's going to go. Does it make sense for you to buy or sell, as well as discussing city-specific content and showcasing what homes are available in the market right now. So if you're interested, subscribe for more, like the video. I do post videos weekly. If you're interested in buying or selling in Orange County, reach out. I'd love to chat, see if I'd be a good fit for you. You can either text me, email me, or just call me directly. All that information is in the description below. Let's get into it. We had this huge frenzy across almost all real estate markets during the end of 2020, 2021, first half of 2022, and majority of 2023. And in 2024, what not a lot of people are talking about is home values in Orange County only appreciated 3%. Now, while this may be a normal market, and in my opinion, we are trending toward a normalization in real estate markets, there are some pockets of the county that are significantly lower than they were in 2024, and some parts that have been trending up throughout the entire year. And if you look at the data, it's pretty obvious as to why this is happening. We have essentially seen active listings increasing throughout 2024, and what we saw was buyer demand decreasing. So there were more sellers wanting to put their homes on the market, while buyers were taking a step back and wanted to see what was actually going to happen before jumping in and buying a home, because we still had elevated home prices and still have elevated home prices, all while mortgage rates are back over 7%. There was this huge drama around the Fed cutting interest rates, and I think a lot of buyers were told they should wait before getting pre-approved to jump into the housing market once the Fed cut rates. And I was publishing content saying, I don't think you should be waiting. In my opinion, mortgage rates were going to increase after the Fed cut rates. And for me, this was obvious because mortgage rates front ran the Fed's interest rate decision, because mortgage rates are forward looking. And what basically occurred is we were told, at least the general public was told, that the Fed was going to cut rates significantly at the end of 2024 and first half of 2025. And as a result, mortgage rates started to trend down prior to the Fed's rate cut decision. And once the Fed did their initial rate cut, we started getting data that signaled perhaps the Fed is not going to cut rates as much as everyone previously anticipated. Inflation started to tick up a little bit, and the job numbers came in stronger than previously anticipated. We got the unemployment rate decreasing, all while the Fed was saying the reason they're cutting rates is because the unemployment rate was going up. So we got different data suggesting that the Fed might not do as many rate cuts as everyone thought. And more recently, the Fed announced that they are going to be cutting rates less in 2025. This is because inflation has gone up a little bit and unemployment has gone down. These are the key factors that the Fed looks for when discussing their interest rate cutting decisions. And as a result, mortgage rates are back at 7.1%. And in all honesty, they could go even higher. So taking a look at housing specifically, we are running into this situation where sellers are actually wanting to sell their home and take advantage of these higher prices, while buyers kind of just want to see what happens. And this is very prevalent in the pending sales, which is the number of homes getting into escrow and a great indication of buyer demand. Across Orange County, we are at record lows, even lower than the peak of the financial crisis, but homes are still elevated. So it's not a collapse in the job market similar to the financial crisis that caused everyone to not buy a home. I think a lot of people are just wanting to wait and see what happens. And honestly, I don't blame them. There is a lot of uncertainty in the market, but this could provide buyers with opportunity right now. Now, when we discuss the first half of 2025, I believe we could actually see home values increasing. And the reason I believe this is going to happen is if you look at the last 3 to 4 months of 2024, we saw active listings decline significantly. We dropped about 30% in homes available on the market. Now, if we saw active listings stay flat or continue to increase, I would have told you that the first half of 2025 home values are going to drop every single month for the entire half of the year. But because we saw available homes for sale declining pretty substantially, a 30% decline is nothing to ignore. I think those few buyers that have been waiting on the sidelines that are going to jump back into the market could cause home values to increase at least for the first half of the year. Now, what I notice a lot of agents don't like to mention is the supply and demand in homes. That is indicative of where prices are likely going to go. And yes, mortgage rates do play a factor, but if you have less homes available, which was the trend for the last 3 to 4 years, home values are likely going to go up. And we saw inventory increase substantially in the first half of 2024, and lo and behold, home values declined in the second half. Now, I believe this will likely happen again in 2025, and it's important to note if you are a buyer, typically the best time to buy a home is toward the end of the year. However, if you get in before the large increase in buyer demand, which usually happens in March and April, so if you are getting into the market January, February, maybe the first week of March, you will more than likely have less competition in the market, which will allow you to get homes below list price. So that being said, should you be buying a home in 2025? With all of these changes going on, in my opinion, if you are going to buy, make sure it is a good deal for you specifically. I don't think this is the year where you should be getting into multiple offers and bidding significantly over list price, especially where mortgage rates are right now. There may not even be a refinance opportunity later this year. So if you're buying right now, make sure you're happy with the monthly payment. You don't want to get yourself into a situation where you're compromising what you're doing in your life. You don't want to be house poor. You want to enjoy your home. You don't want to regret that buying decision. And do keep in mind there is going to be less competition this year. And in my opinion, inventory will continue to rise, and we may even see more homes available than we did in 2024. I do believe the first half of the year, home values will increase, and in the second half of the year, we will have a decline. I think in all likelihood, we'll end the year positive, but I think it will be modest appreciation, similar to what we saw in 2024. I do think there is a possibility that if the Fed decides they're going to cut rates significantly more than everyone is anticipating right now, then we do run into this scenario where there is a potential for a buyer frenzy and we start to get bidding wars again. However, if the reason they are cutting rates is due to unemployment and not to inflation declining, then I don't think we're going to see a multiple offer bidding scenario. I think if unemployment continues to rise drastically and that's the reason they're cutting rates, then I think there will just be modest appreciation. Do keep in mind that a lot of people are expecting, or at least a lot of economists are discussing, the possibility of a recession in 2025. Now, historically, 70% of the time, home values increase when there is a recession, and 100% of the time, they always outperform the stock market. So that is something to keep in mind. If you're looking for a place to park your money, maybe consider an investment property rather than having everything in the stock market. And Orange County is kind of in its own little bubble in terms of what's going on with the rest of California. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you like videos like this, subscribe for more. I'll be uploading weekly content. And if you have any questions about Orange County, whether you're buying or selling, reach out. I'd love to chat with you. And I'll see you in my next video.